And let's go ahead and go back to our agenda where we left off, and that was with item 7.4, consideration of the award of bid number 24-13 for the Lucerne Harbor Dredging Project in the amount of $211,700 to Marz Engineering. And Director Ewing.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You didn't know who you were.
Yeah, I forgot about it. You don't want me in that. Well, good morning. Lars Ewing, Public Services Director. Yes, for your board's consideration is award of the bid for the Lucerne Harbor Dredging Project. In early August, Public Services solicited an invitation for bids for the project. We received 2 bids, and the board memo summarizes those as well, and the packet has those, has a bid tabulation. The information that's in the memo about the significant discrepancy is not commonly included in a public project, at least for a recommendation for award. But in consideration of how drastically different they are, we wanted to ensure that your board was aware. Public Services was contacted by a labor organization with concerns for it, just to ensure that that Marz does in fact, or will in fact be first off, that their bid was based on prevailing wage, and that second, that they would in fact be paying prevailing wage along with other labor laws that are required. So Public Services, I mean, I communicated directly with Marz to ensure that was the basis for their bid, did confirm that they would be paying prevailing wage. So with that confirmation, I'm recommending award to Marz Engineering.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Vice Chair Crandall.
Thank you, Lars, for bringing this long time coming, and just appreciate the due diligence and looking forward to this project moving forward.
Any other comments? Supervisor Simon?
Yeah, glad to be at this point also, Lars. Good job. Way to stay steadfast. I know projects take a long time. I think I may be the only one when we first voted on this, when Jim Steele was still on the board, that we're getting this project done. So happy that it is getting done and we're at this point. So EJ and you guys just staying, and admin, working through the issues we've had, but glad it's here today. So good job.
Thank you.
Takes time, we know.
Supervisor Green?
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to see this too, but I did have just a couple of questions, if only because I think this can serve as a pathway for other dredging projects that we may need in the county, including in District 4. So just to clarify, it was a wide swing in the bids, and I went through the contract documents. So the company that's going to get this, if approved, did conduct their own independent investigation of the what's down there.
They were, in fact, the only contractor that attended the non-mandatory pre-bid meeting. So I would offer that they did more due diligence than the other bidder. That's not to say that the other bidder did not do their own site walk, but they did not attend the non-mandatory, granted, but the pre-bid site walk with county staff.
Okay. Also in the paper trail here, I can see it did take a while. It took an initial study. I see there's a monitoring agreement with Robinson, and so all that stuff is very good, but complicates this process. So would you anticipate, and again, we're just here for this item, but there have been other projects proposed elsewhere too. Is this kind of a model? Did this model work for you, or did it end up being kind of a longer than anticipated, shall we say? Because I think it was originally scoped as CADX.
It was, yes, it was, and that was part of to use this as a model. I think is probably the lessons learned from this of what not to do, at least with respect to the putting out the request for review with a proposed categorical exemption. That's not the way it should go. Here's the project, and we need to evaluate it. So it's not abnormal to have tribal monitoring on projects. It's not abnormal to have archaeological monitoring above and beyond that, which is what we have in this case. So by and large, this is not an overly complex project. It was the process, I would suggest, that on this that we can learn from. But I would stop short of saying that it's a model. Every project is somewhat unique, but there's certainly certainly a process that community development follows, and they follow it very well. I appreciate their, with under Miriam, I think she was here when I walked up, but they've done a very good job of in my opinion, of handling the request for reviews, and if it gets to the point where there's the necessity for an initial study, they handle it very well. So I'm appreciative of under her leadership, what is happening now.
Just in closing, this is going to be great for Lucerne. It's great to get boats in the harbor and interacting with the shore, and I just look forward to seeing this project moving forward very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to add, because I know that was brought up, and I want to make sure to note that during the time frame when this initiated, 19 was the initiation of the budget that was put together for the funding to get this project moving. 20, of course, COVID happened. 21 went through the CADEX, and then with the help of CAO Parker, Director Lars Ewing and Tracy Klein, previous planning, she was the planner for this project, and then Robert Geary and Tomaggio Anderson plus Dr. Parker came. We went to the actual site and figured out a path forward, went to town halls, continuously, got it into a different direction, went very well. There was some monitoring where they found a situation, and so the changeover also, I think that people, there's a lot of misrepresentation or miscued thoughts that the county just kind of, there was changeover as well. So at that time, we had like 2 to 3 different directors for planning during the time. So it was one of those things. And so we're here. Lars, thank you for being steadfast on this, and I think we're in a good spot here. So I just wanted to highlight that, we've got where we're at because of all the help and due diligence of everybody, so, and the concern.
Thank you. No, I appreciate this being here. I usually don't get excited in agenda review, but I know that I pointed this out. Thank you for bringing this. This is exciting. Anybody who's passed by, especially during the drought, could see the amount of buildup that's occurred within Lucerne Harbor. This is going to be great. It has been a long time coming. Hiccups happen, unfortunately, and some of them are out of our control. But I'm glad we found the right pathway in order to get to this conclusion today. What I'm hoping, not to say again that it's a model option, but what I'm hoping is whatever initial study review that we've done can be reutilized for Lucerne Harbor again in the future, because we know that the buildup of silt and sand and all kinds of soils is going to happen again in that area. And I'm hopeful that the study and what we have in documented materials will help us to redo this in the future when we have to dredge it again.
And if I could add a suggestion there, that it's really a suggestion that I can communicate with the Water Resources Director and even the 2 cities, which is on the maintenance dredging side of things. This is the first time that harbor has ever been dredged since construction. So there is there's a pathway through permitting agencies if it's truly maintenance dredging. If you continually perform this, so that's something that we can consider as opposed to a one-time standalone project that requires non-maintenance dredging perspectives. So I'm happy to communicate that to the directors, Water Resources, and the 2 cities.
Right, because at the previous time frame, there was no laws in place for cultural monitoring or anything like that. And so a lot of thoughts in the town and whatnot was, well, it wasn't done before. And Caltrans had found something in that area. And I'm sure that there's other areas when we move forward with different dredging projects that are going to be similar. So I think the concept that I think most education should take place is that when these were dredged or built, there was no cultural monitoring or AB 52 or Section 106 or anything like that. So it's important to keep those things in mind. Yeah.
And I appreciate the idea between project and maintenance in the sense that this is this has a potential for an economic impact. I would say there definitely is, but I don't have the proof right in front of me. And so having that maintenance rather than waiting for it to rebuild to the point that we have it as today, currently, I think would be very helpful for the economy of the North Shore and things. So appreciate that this is in front of us and looking forward to this getting completed. Let's open it up for public comment. Please come on up.
Joan Moss. I remember that there was testing of mercury and for cyanobacteria around in a mine up there. And I'm wondering if, and there were dead cats, and there was a question whether the cats were from the carp that were infested with mercury. And I've handed it into the water projects. Kelly combined everything that I wrote as a public record attendee for the Ground Sustainable. And I will give it to Lars again. I have copies. And I want to make sure that the Environmental Impact Agency can report on the presence of possible mercury-cyanobacteria in the area, in the fish and the cats that died. I have documents I'll give to Lars. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that back and close public comment and bring it back to the board for action. Hold on, Supervisor Green, you have a comment?
I just wanted to bring it back. So Blue Ribbon Committee for the Rehabilitation at Clear Lake. There was a 2023 project to dredge other channels, but they did do a call out. They did a shout out to Lucerne Dredging Project. So they did point out that among other benefits of this project, they're going to be taking out an estimated 2 tons of phosphorus and about 0.4 tons of nitrogen by dredging out that sediment, and that's roughly equivalent to 2% of the annual input of phosphorus for Clear Lake. So it may sound like just a little bit, but part of what we know about water quality in Clear Lake is there is a lot of phosphorus present in those deposited sediments. So this is probably not the best way to scrape the entire lake of phosphorus, but there is a tangible benefit that was called out at Blue Ribbon. So I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thank you. And looking for action.
So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the award of bid number 24-13 for the Lucerne Harbor Dredging Project in the amount of $211,700 to Marz Engineering, and authorize the chair to sign the agreement and the notice of award.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.